Well. Look at this. Look at this. Dubbed the Three Amigos, finally back in the seat. This is amateur radio amplified on 100 watts and a wire. It's Christian K0 STH throwing it out to the Pacific Northwest, out to Steve, W7UDI. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Christian. How's it going?
Oh my God, what a loaded question. Scotty's here as well. Scotty's hanging, and we got so much to talk about. KC3BXN is here, holding it down from Maryland, so your friends are here. Thank you all for listening and everybody's patience. I was thinking to myself, should it go to a recap situation? I mean, it's I almost hate to relive it because there's so much great stuff to talk about. But what is the best yet is that my boys were here. I felt like Neil Young a little bit when he called up Crazy Horse. And it's like, you guys ready to go and play some shows? Yeah. Like, everybody's like, let me find my cables and my guitars. And Steve was like, I was like, what songs did we do? Like, holy cow. So yeah, we got the band back together, and hopefully we're here to stay here as we we're heading towards September, and some new things have been announced, you guys, and it was a buzz this weekend, and I kind of had been prepping to get back on the air and do this, and after a move, my wife and I and the kids bought a home here in Sarasota. In the end, it was about as much money renting down here as it is to pay a mortgage down here, and we went for the home ownership route, never to be kicked out again, by some, I won't say a slumlord at all. It wasn't like that. She just decided she was going to sell the house, and we had to go. It was a big, gigantic pain in the dupa, as my Polish people would say. But we're back, and we're settled in. There's a lot to talk about here because there is exciting news about what I'm going to be able to put up. I'm in a completely different situation. I always default back to Steve's sage advice about things and changes, and sometimes starting over and working with what you've got. All these sort of things are in play for me right now. So it's kind of exciting. It's almost like, not to be too heavy, but like a rebirth in a way. Like I've got to figure out, it's almost like the beginning of 100 watts in a wire, figuring out all the things I need to sort out, and it's exciting. But what's more exciting is catching up with you all, especially Steve and Scotty, and getting it on here. I've been listening to the net intermittently, and thank you to you guys and Don and the folks who are keeping the net going every Sunday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's there, it's automatic, and the fellas have been holding it down, waiting for my life to settle as they've been living theirs. Steve, let's talk about you first. What the F is going on, and catch me up on, let's pick it up from your trip to Dayton and running into Mitz and Scotty and all this sort of stuff.
That was awesome. So May was just was total craziness as usual. So I had my granddaughter graduated high school, and
wow,
in Wichita. So it was like, okay, her graduation was on the 15th, and then the next day I hit the road and drove from Wichita all the way to Dayton. Got to drive through Kansas City, St. Louis. They even went through your old neighborhood as I went up and around the downtown area, and then through Indianapolis. And wow, what a long day! But I tell you, it was meeting up with Scotty and Don was it was 3 days of just fun, and I enjoyed it so much. Watching Don and Scotty being at Dayton for the first time, because they're like,
yeah,
wow. It was a blast. We just had a great time. It was probably one of my memorable Daytons, and and then there was the long drive back.
Damn it, that's the thing, yeah.
And then flying back home, and so it was definitely the highlight of spring for me was Dayton, and it was good to be there. It was quite the show.
I'm so glad you guys got together. And Scotty, I'm coming to you next to follow up on that little bit there and the excitement of hitting Dayton for the first time. And we can share a couple stories there. And we will as time goes on. And we have here since 2015 doing this podcast talked about the floating, the poop. You guys didn't have to deal with the poop. You young fellas don't have to deal
there.
with that. You were there for the poop, but these young folks here getting there for the first time. See, their first timers didn't have to. What did you call them? The brown shark, or what was it?
The brown trout.
The brown trout. We know that the plumbing busted or something one year, and then the poop was afloating. But you guys didn't have to do
and then
that.
it busted.
Scotty,
so the brown trouts were in the into the flea market area.
Oh, what a mess. What a mess. There's just too many men eating too much bad stuff and too little toilets. That's what was going on in that space at that time. But you got Xenia, big accommodations, a little bit better food, I hope. Scotty, talk to me a little bit about your first Dayton experience.
Oh man, it was such a good time. It was more than I imagined it would have been. So it took me about a 7.5-hour drive from Ellicott City, Maryland to get to Xenia. Yep. I drove out and stayed at a nice little hotel. All hotels out there are like the hotel at Dayton or such and such hotel at Dayton and this hotel at Dayton. So
you stayed in Dayton and then drove like the 30 minutes out to Xenia?
Yeah, actually where I was at, I was only about 20-minute drive to the fairground there in Xenia, so it wasn't bad at all. And the first day was a little bit rainy. I was a little disappointed in that, but I stopped at the Walmart and got my cheap little poncho and a cheap umbrella because I neglected to bring any rain equipment. And I got all set up and got there. I guess I don't know, a little after 8 o'clock first day, and I was just like, "Whoa."
Did you
first building? And it was great.
Did you go there with something in mind to buy? Like, were you looking for? I think Steve taught me to look for the smalls. Like, so I was looking for like cable connectors and deals on stuff like that when I went because I wasn't buying anything large. Did you have anything in mind?
The only thing I had in mind that I wanted to get, and it would have been from the from out in the field, out in the parking lot vendors, was a tube tester. I wanted to get a tube tester. I've been doing a lot of amp repairs and like to have a way to test vacuum tubes, and they're so expensive. You get one on eBay that's in good working condition. You're looking at $300-400 for some of these, and so that's what I had my eyes peeled on. And I was walking around with Steve and Don. We were trudging through, all the grassy knolls there, and Steve actually spotted this guy that was selling. He had a couple small boxes. He's like, I think those are tube testers. I was like, what? So we checked it out, and then he had an Icom model 666 that was pretty beat up, but those in good condition are selling for like $300, and so I snatched it up. I think I paid $80 for it, and
yeah, you got a really good deal on
it.
it.
Yeah, it's I've since repainted the cabinet. I'm in the process of I had to. The meter wasn't working right, so I had to track down a new replacement needle meter for it. But I have a new meter for it, and we've capped it, and I'm just waiting for the paint to cure so I can put it back together and see how it's working. So that was what I had in mind when I went, and I left with one, so that was really cool.
Steve, did you feel like you needed to like show them around? Like, was it like kids kind of at the zoo? They wanted the popcorn, they needed balloons, they needed something sticky and their face wiped. What was going on?
Yeah, the first day it felt like it was kind of like, okay, here's where this is and this is where that is, and just kind of
showing us the ropes.
Showing the ropes, and okay, this is where we go, do this, do that, and then a few other little tricks of the trade as going there for years. The second day they were old hats, but that first day I just watched them, and I was just just enjoyed it as much as they were, if not more, just to see their reactions. And then Don running into a lot of folks from the Long Island CW Club, and they had a booth going on. So no, overall it was just a great show. Kind of missed MFJ; they weren't there.
Really?
But,
oh man!
Yeah.
And I know the sale and the closing up. So I guess that's it always was official coming from Martin. Mm-hmm. But I thought maybe they'd have inventory that they'd want to move out. Or did that announcement maybe come after Dayton? I don't remember.
It was before, I think it was, and then then they chose not to go to Dayton, so it was a little sad because they were a pretty big mainstay there, and they, the hotel that I used to stay at, I stayed at another one just down the street from where I normally stayed. Martin and the gang used to be there, and they were quite the party revelers. They used to have a good time. So they worked hard during the day and partied hard at night. So it was pretty fun hanging with those guys.
So a lot of things have happened since we were together last. Bob Heil passed. That was, I guess it wasn't surprising, but I think he's such an important figure to this hobby and audio and sound in general that it kind of did take the wind out of the sails. And that was one I had to send that to Steve. I'm like, ooh, I just heard this. You have to verify that one for me, but it was official coming out of Heil. So that was another big happening this year. Your thoughts on that one, Steve?
I was devastated. It was I was just heartbroken to lose a good friend and a mentor. So Bob meant a lot to me at the time we got to spend at Dayton and through Hamvention. It was it was a lot of memories being with him. But some good news: K9EID is alive. It's still it's out there. Bob's grandson Charlie now holds the call K9EID, and
Beautiful.
so he's keeping that.
Cool.
That just happened here within the last week or two. Excuse me.
That's great.
So EID lives on. So Charlie's gonna have to fill some big shoes and do a lot of explaining, but I think it's going to be awesome. So yeah, the passing of Bob hit a lot of people hard.
I know what I'm going to say now is not lost on you guys, but there was the one thing I love about recording and recording history and audio in general is that we can go back to the archive of Hamvention and we can go back and dig around and get those nuggets of information. All that information still exists. Now, I don't, hopefully it'll stay available as we go, but I mean, isn't that the beautiful thing about, I don't know why Scotty's into recording. I'd imagine that just there is a science to audio, but one of the beautiful things is that you capture it and you've got it. So when great artists that we admire and adore, these great records and things that we always play back. Scotty, talk about the importance of recording and how we can always go back.
Oh yeah, you're capturing these these snapshots in time, a moment in time in audio. And so when a band comes in to do a record, I say it's the old. So it used to be at the portrait studio, Olin Mills. I remember as a kid, you go with the family to Olin Mills and get your photos, and you kind of it's like the Olin Mills day for the band, just in an audio version, and just having these recordings for posterity, and having these to refer to and have and keep for forever and ever it's extremely important.
I hope that Josh has sorted out, I'm sure he will, because I know he took over the production side of the Hamvention stuff and making sure that all stays as a repository for Bob's work. If nothing else, there's so much knowledge between the older brass there, and I say that with respect. I mean, Gordo and Bob, George and the guys who were kind of the founding fathers of that ham radio thing. I mean, and Bob, he would teach you how to hook your speakers up, and I remember, rewind, let me go back because there's something wacky going on here. But I owe him a lot. But one thing is I met Steve. So I met Steve through Bob Heil, Hamvention. So it's kind of full circle.
That's what I say. I met you through Hamvention and Bob Heil. So Bob was the glue that put us together here.
He brought it together. Yep. And so there you go. And I did a stint there. I don't know how many episodes I did, but Bob invited me on as a new ham at the time. And then I went to Dayton, my first Dayton, being on live, meeting Steve. And Steve was kind of like the roadie and was pretty much like dedicated to it. Like, I'm the roadie, damn it. Okay. All right.
What do you need?
Plugging things
What
up.
do you-
Him,
what kind-
him,
okay,
him and
we'll cable
Heil
it
are
up
like
for
this. Ah, damn it. Bob's like, yeah, solder. And boom. Next thing you know, it's... anyway, just wanted to pay a little respect because I was definitely out of time when that went down and could not give it the proper love. And I have his books. I got to spend a lot of time with him. I've got the concert book that I probably need to share with Scotty because you can still find it from time to time. I have it here. It's probably packed away. But anyhow, let me, and thank you guys for that. Let's we're going to talk about these new radio releases coming up here very shortly. If you're watching us live, 7 o'clock on Sundays on the YT channel, and you can subscribe wherever you get podcasts and listen at your leisure. You may see Scotty sifting all about, and you might think, what is his thing today? Has he got something going on? He is reading specs on these new radios and pulling up PDFs. He's like I mentioned with Bob and Steve. He's firing off looking for specs. I want to tell you what, this month in radio history, let's go back to August 11th, 1942. We were all much younger back then. Actress Hedy Lamarr, you remember her. She came from our neighborhood. Steve dated her. I can't talk too loudly. I don't want this to get out of his headphones. I don't want it to bleed out of his headphones and get him in trouble later. But Hedy Lamarr and Steve would go.
She was a babe.
Ooh-wee. That's a bigger story. Let's talk about the history, though. And composer George and Theo receive U.S. patent for spread spectrum. Now we can talk about who got to spread spectrum first. Was it Steve? Was it George and Theo? I'm going with Steve on that one. Steve for the win. But according to the record books, let the record show, August 11th, 1942, Hedy and George receive a patent.
Steve got the Hedy.
He got it all first. Ruined it. August 12th, 1960, much later on, we were still little G's back then. USA launches Echo 1, the first communications satellite, the very next day. But again, August 13th in 1902, we were real young, way before Hedy Lamarr came around. The Radio Act of 1912 is approved. The act was the country's first legislation to require licenses for radio stations. It was eventually found insufficient to control interference among naval, amateur, and commercial stations and was replaced with the Radio Act of 1927. And on August 27th, 1910, James McCurdy, a Canadian, closed the window. You guys remember that? Here comes the Canadians. Close the door, man. That's an old one. That's an oldie but a goodie. Canadian aviation pioneer sends the first aircraft-to-ground wireless message, and that catches you up on this month.
Sorry, Uncle Paul.
Radio history. Yeah, Uncle Paul, missing Uncle Paul, my Polish brother. And there we are. All right, thank you for that. Now, big news coming around. So big, in fact, that we were like,
Jesus Christ.
well, it wasn't quite that big. It wasn't big and scary like that. But it was big, and anytime you get Scotty to fire off some messages there about the new radios going down, so I figured, fellas,
Big news.
it is big news, and I was like, oh snap, because I haven't been in the market to buy one, quite frankly. My 7610 was on the fritz there for a little while, and I sent it to Michigan. One of the ICOM people who work on it for ICOM fixed it up. He went under the hood. Said there was a loose, something or other under there. He resoldered it, sent it back, and it's been in a box until about a week ago, right? So I'm like 7610's got me like. So when this thing came out, I was like, oh, all right.
760, here you go.
Here's a 760. I'm like, son of a. But anyway, let's take a look at this. If you're watching live on the YouTube channel, again, Sundays, 7 o'clock. Eastern time, there is a new radio, the IC-7760, and I don't know how much time you boys have spent with it, But I was just mainly looking at the photographs, and I can tell this little 2-inch. This, sorry, I knew it. Damn it, I knew it. I knew I was too long a pause. Sorry, Sherry. Sorry there. But what do you call that? There's a little like a filter. Like what is it? 2-inch off the side of the main screen display.
Right,
There's
right
something
above
new.
the main knob.
Yeah.
Like a little auxiliary display. I don't know what Icom refers to.
See you on Monday. What is that?
It has a filter, but it's a multi-display. You can bring up the filter, and I saw some pictures of other displays on there. So I'm thinking it's just and that particular picture shows it as a bandpass filter. So, but what kind of got me was it kind of borrowed from the Kenwood TS990, where they have the above their tuning knob, you could have the old school and just this little 2.5-inch screen. So in the case of this radio, they have the filters as you go through it, and this one looks like it's just the bandpass filter.
Really?
So I would mean there's a selection of that.
Scotty, what do you think?
It's cool. I don't know much about it, just like most people don't yet. But the face is detachable. So it's very similar to a flex radio in that regard, in that you have a main body and then you have the face. And it's from what I've seen so far, it's kind of a flex radio sort of style of rig.
It's a control head. What it is?
Yeah, control head.
It's like
there's
the
some networking
Maestro,
capabilities, and yeah, it's really, really cool.
So what's kind of interesting in this radio, so there's a couple of things with it. This is a 200-watt continuous duty radio. So if you're into FT8, RTTY, it's continuous duty, so you can go down. It's the transistors are rated for 450 watts, what they claim, but it's a continuous 200-watt transmit. So, well, for 1 hour, if I was looking at the specs earlier today. So it's a pretty beefy, PA. So it's rated at 200 watts, 50 watts AM. And but the only interconnection between the control head and the body, or the radio, the RF, is Ethernet. So they recommend a 1 gig network. So, but one thing that Ray pointed out that I picked up on during the unveil that was streamed yesterday was for your CW guys, you plug your CW key into the control head, not the radio. So
Cool.
So this kind of brings up an interesting situation, is that you can have this control head on your bench or on your desk in your shack, but the RF can be elsewhere as long as it's on the same LAN network. Can't do it over the internet because there's latency issues that they got to deal with, but think about it. You can have, if I was building a contest station, brand new off the ground, and I was going to build a multi station, I would be starting to look at this radio, because you can have a shack, a little, tough shed or whatever, building out by your towers or wherever your antennas are, out in the field, run Ethernet cable out to the shack, and now all your RF is out there.
You're right up with the antennas, really short coax runs, and then
exactly
long,
and then
network cable back to the shack.
Yeah, as long as you're under 100 meters, but there's more. You can go fiber and convert it over. As long as you're on the same network, you can put all your RF, your amplifier, the PW2, which will integrate with this radio, could all be out into this building. And if I was building a contest station, say it was 4 positions or whatever, and I had 4 towers or 5 towers, that was 1 radio per band and stuff like that, that would be the way to go. Just think about all the RF that you won't have back into your shack, into your operating position. So there's some versatility with this radio, but it's interesting. They've increased the filters. And supposedly it'll be interesting to see once it, Ray's hoping that it will bump, be up there in the on the Sherwood receiver test. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, there's a lot of possibilities with this radio. Based on what they were selling, listing for in the Japanese market, it looks like it's going to be $6,100, give or take.
$6,100.
Jesus Christ.
Ricardo has chimed in. It says at 200 watts, also DXpeditions will have a little more power. So there's a benefit. Scotty, what do you make of this?
I think it's pretty cool. I've as much of a Yaesu fanboy I am, I have my long-term radio outlook. I was kind of looking at flex radios for, when I get a little older, get a little more money. And this is right there, a similar form factor, also a similar price range. Haven't used many ICOM radios, but it's absolutely stunning. Look at that; it's gorgeous. The dual VFOs, that little auxiliary multi-display. I really like the fact that the control panel is detachable, and you can put as Steve was saying, put the main body of the radio out where the antennas are, and run a coax, run a network cable back to the shack. It looks like a real contender for contest stations for sure.
Rob, November 8, Papa, Sierra Papa says you won't heat up the ham shack either with radios. So there you go. Very nice. On the did it make it move register, Steve, does this make it move down there in the ding ding?
I like it. I'll predict that, in a few years, Yaesu their next radio will probably follow same suit of what they're doing here. They're going to go and see how the market goes. If it becomes pretty, popular. I mean, it's not going to be like the 7300. It's not a big game changer, but it's taking the 7610, which has been around a while, and now it's taken to another level. Next step. It's not taking it up to 7800 area. I mean, it's kind of being priced right in the middle there between the 7610 and the 7851, 7851, and it's going to be a pretty good contender. I mean, if you went to Dayton this year, you saw the guts, and there was the guesses, and it was kind of interesting. I've been kind of looking forward to yesterday since Dayton, just to see what it was going to be. Yeah, and I mean,
looking at the boards and trying to figure, all right, there's some, sorry, it's got a tuner. We can see that. And what the hell is it?
Yeah. So just to clarify, Steve, the question was, did it make it move for you?
Yeah.
Good answer, Steve. One more before I go to Scotty. Steve, this is a specific buyer, right?
Oh, yeah. This is going to be for the serious amateur that's into probably contesting or want to build a contest station. Someone, I don't know how much it's going to play in the DXpeditions, but I think it could play a big role. But what's kind of come down the pipe with will it go in competition with the RIB, the radio in a box, which is being tested out there on a few islands, and but with the limitation of the cable length. But I can't see this being out on a DXpedition where they just put, okay, we're going to put all the radios here and all the filtering, all the amplifiers, and we just bring back a network. We're just going to have a network cables coming back, and the operators will be in a tent or a structure at the DXpedition site, and they won't have to worry about the RF, and the RF will be away. So I see a lot of possibilities with this layout. It's not for everyone. I've already seen, peruse QRZ, and there's a lot of people poo-pooing it. They just oh no, I don't want to have a detachable head. No, and it's not a detachable head. The radio is the radio. The only thing to connect to it is the Ethernet cable and a few other odds and ends. But for the most part, you have basically, think of a 705 on steroid case, or that will sit on your desk, that takes up so much less room than the full-size radio. So even if you don't take it out to the antennas, you put it underneath, having the RF deck underneath the desk on the floor or on a shelf just above the floor is a huge game changer. So this is, and if the filtering comes in and what they've done with the receivers, I think it's going to be a contender for the 101 Deltas and the 101 MPs, the latest and greatest that Yaesu has. So it's going to be, I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes number one on the list.
Scotty, same question. Did you feel it move?
Yes, there's definitely some movement. It's a pretty sweet looking rig.
All right.
Wing.
Oh, good deal.
Showing
Good deal. Yeah. So I think we gave a good synopsis of that. That's definitely a specific radio for a specific need, specific person. It reminds me of that connectivity, reminds me of going way back. Nothing like this now, but the 7100 had that sort of cable away from the, and you could take it and just have that little head, that little radio head there working for you. So we'll come back and we'll talk about the Yaesu in just a second. But Scotty, we got to get to some other business, don't we? Yeah, we do.
Yes, what we got?
Yeah, let's see if you can pull it up on his things. I'll go first, though.
Okay.
If you're looking for a power solution, check out BioNO Power, offering the best lithium phosphate batteries for your ham radios. Visit BioNO Power. That's BioENNO Power.com. And if you find value in 100 watts in a wire, you can support the content and the community you enjoy by visiting buymeacoffee.com/100 watts. It's easier than buying and cheaper probably than buying a cup of coffee, especially out where Steve lives. $32 for a cup of coffee out there where Steve lives, the home of Starbucks. Cheaper than that. There can benefits to becoming a monthly contributor. We've got a dipole level. It's $1 an episode, just $4 a month. Certainly cheaper than a real cup of coffee. Thank you for your support. Scotty is here to let us know what sort of ham radio events are happening in our world.
All right, what we got going on? A couple things coming up next weekend. A couple QSO parties. We got on August 31st, we got the Colorado QSO party kicking off. We also got that same weekend the Tennessee QSO party. And then there's a DX contest. The United Kingdom and Ireland Contest Club puts on their DX contest, and that is happening next weekend as well. That's all I got. That's all I got for
plenty,
next
sir.
weekend's activities.
And that is plenty. I'd just like to hear the music. People like get on
I do
to
have
that.
one more special event station that's happening.
Okay.
100 watts and a wire. News.
This is in Ellensburg, Washington. This is in Sidecards
Hey.
neighborhood. We have the Ellensburg Rodeo and for Kittitas County Fair.
Kittitas, yep.
Kittitas County
Can you
Fair.
spell
Ellensburg
that
Rodeo
for
and
us,
Kittitas
Scotty?
County Fair.
Could you spell Kittitas? Tititatas?
Kittit.
Stop.
A-S.
It's
Kittitas.
Kittas.
Okay, we got it.
K-I-S-S-I. Wait a minute, wrong. And that's happening next August 31st through September 2nd. There's a special event call sign Kilo 7 Romeo K7R, and there's a certificate so you can get for participation.
Beautiful.
It'll be
Thank
the
you.
101st anniversary of the rodeo.
Oh,
Last year was the 100th.
Wow, all right.
Beautiful.
Excellent.
That's amazing. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. There wasn't just one radio released this week.
Oh.
There was actually 3, but we're going to get to that in a second. I don't know if the third one was actually technically released this week, but number 2, they gave a lot of people the Woodrow Wilson, were the Yaesu fanboys, as they're called. They call themselves proudly the Yaesu fanboys. Now, the FTX-1F, you can reserve yours now at DX Engineering. I think the hold is 35 ducats. You can hold your radio for $35. I don't know what the sale price for this rig is, but we're going to talk about what the fellows have learned about this rig. Scotty, why don't you go first? What do you know?
All right. So I think you can reserve at DX Engineering and also at HRO for $35, and probably other couple of vendors that get parts too are taking reservations for this new Yaesu. So yeah, it made a big stir. People were calling it it's coming after the ICOM 705. It's an all bands, all mode QRP rig, HF up through 430 megahertz. So I guess technically not all band, but so making it a versatile various amateur radio bands. This transceiver is particularly notable for being SDR based. So like all the new rigs coming out, I like the 703, like the ICOM 705, the Yaesu's, the FT10 and the 101s, the newer 101s. These are all SDR based radios. You got a lot of features for your money with when you get into the SDR software based things. So it's going up against the 705. It has a battery. So let's check out I got the specs that were released for it. Key features. Also, I think availability will be early 2005. I think is what they said. This thing's coming out.
Oh, okay. That's
So early
okay.
early 2025. They kind of released it at the Tokyo Ham Fair over the weekend. Frequency coverage spans HF through VHF and UHF. On all modes, which is cool. SDR technology leverages SDR technology, which provides greater flexibility and improved performance compared to traditional radios. Dual independent receivers. So this is a cool thing. So there is a bit of speculation whether or not it's true full duplex. But this might pique the interest of some of the satellite folks. But it has 2 independent receivers. Enhancing its capability for monitoring multiple bands simultaneously. So it'll monitor 2 different bands simultaneously. Whether or not it's full duplex with those bands or not remains to be seen. As far as I know, I don't know if that's been found out yet or not. So that could be really cool for satellite stuff. Being able to transmit, on the VHF and then listen to yourself come back in the UHF. That's really important if you're doing satellite work because you need to know if you're getting into the bird or not. Or ruining it for everybody else that's trying to, and you can't hear what you're doing on there. So that's pretty cool. The display interface, front panel, it's a large, high-resolution screen resembling the design of modern radios like the 705. So I've got a similar thing. It's got that cool 3D Yaesu waterfall, which I kind of dig. It's a 6-watt radio. It can, if you use it with an external battery, it does have an internal battery. When using the internal battery, 6 watts. It can do up to 10 watts when using an external power. And there's some accessories that Yaesu is going to have available for it. An optional automatic antenna tuner as an add-on. I don't know if that's probably a separate box.
Yeah,
you can
it just
add a
clamps
high.
on the picture I saw clamped on the back of the radio.
Yeah, that makes sense. High capacity, 5670 milliamp hour lithium ion battery pack, as well as an optional cooling fan, which they recommend for digital modes like doing FT8 and stuff. So that's looking real cool. This replaces the 817 and 818 in Yaesu's product line and fills that QRP hole with a very nice rig that came out. A lot of people were excited about it.
Yeah, so Steve, this again is another specialized market. This has a specific ham in mind. Talk about that.
It's for the QRPers, and so ones that want to go out into backpacking. This is like the 705. It's a portable radio that you can use an internal battery, get the 6 watts, and then And like the 705, it didn't have a tuner, but there's so many tuners out there. You can, if you can get the one from Yaesu, or in the case of ICOM, you can get the ICOM one, or you can get an LDG tuner. There's other tuners out there, or just, build a resonant antenna and not worry about the tuner. So, but this market is for, it's a specialized market. It's not for the average ham, I would say, that operates from their house. But I mean, there's people use it from their homes too. So it follows the same lineage as the rest of the latest Yaesus as far as form factor, like the ICOMs. The 7300 and then the 7600. The 705 has the same touch and feel, and so Yaesu's following the same trend. So the only difference between the two, Yaesu's doing the C4 FM digital mode, whatever. I don't follow digital modes, and D-Star on the ICOMs. But I think it's a great market. The 817 and 18 it's a stale radio. It's been around for quite some time, and it's Yaesu kind of. Yes, they're following ICOM. Yes, they're, like they did with the 710. But, someone has to lead, someone has to follow, and it's one of those deals. But I think I would, if I was into the QRP and going out, I would definitely get something like this, because yes, I'm a Yaesu fanboy.
Yes.
Hey, Steve, let me ask you, Steve, when you were coming up, was there always a radio and a market for QRP guys and girls? I mean, was it a thing, or did this sort of have a really big turn? I think it did have a really big turn when we were doing Parks on the Air, and I guess what was that? Was it 2016 or something like that?
16, I think, when I think it started it, but there always was a QRP faction in the hobby, but not to where the big boys were involved in it until I think I would say the last 15 years that it's really kind of came into play. There was always the specialized stuff, the kits and this and that.
Sorry, I've got the door open, and you're hearing cicadas. It sounds like a rain stick, like some shaman out here in my yard. We're trying to get the bad spirits away.
The cicadas
it's okay. Keep working, buddy. Keep working. Get the incense out and bless the house. Do all the things with it. It's like shh, and I could hear. I could see Scotty like, the hell is that?
No, now my faders.
Well,
me,
for folks down in the Southwest, they would go, "Oh, rattlesnake."
What the hell is this? Yeah, shh.
I think, and I don't have any information about this, so this is just pure speculation on my part. But I think we're going to see one of the last tired radio in Yaesu's lineup is the FT991. It's a great rig. I got an old one that I bought from Ben, and it's been great. I think and I hope that we're going to see a new 991 or similar coming out with this in this form factor. So it's that's all mode, all band. It's basically this rig, but with 100 watts as opposed to 6 watts.
What's this going to cost?
The two oldest radios were. Oh, geez, look at that balloons!
Oh, look at that!
Wow, look at that!
Happy holiday.
What the okay. I don't know what's going on around here, but
so the two oldest radios in the Yaesu lineup now is going to be the 991 Alpha and the 891. So, so yeah, there'll be the next couple to get an upgrade or a facelift.
Yep.
So 10-watt radio for me, 10 watts. I need all my watts. Like I'm probably not a buyer of this radio or the other one for different reasons, usually financially. But I'm thinking maybe this is in like the 1200 range. Is there any information coming out?
I haven't come across any speculation on price. So I don't know what's the 705 go for. Probably a similar price bracket, I would assume, but.
Now we can ask Mitz. Mitz, from Net Control, he's retired. He's got all that bank. So
He
we'll see.
just picked up a 705 at
Did he now?
Hamvention.
Oh, he's
did.
doing code. He's out there living it, man. I'm happy for him. Well, there you go, friends. But that is not all. Somebody said before we started today that Kenwood dropped something. What do you guys know about this? Because we have no photos of that to share.
Kenwood looks like dropped a dual band radio, a VHF UHF radio, detachable head. It doesn't attach to the body, so kind of similar like what the 7760 is. It's a kind of an upgrade or somewhere in between or just below the 710, the D710. The picture that has been published is kind of black and white, so I don't know what the model number is, but I do know that it has a USB-C connector on both the head and the main RF unit. But one thing I did notice on the main RF unit is there's an SD card slot. So what that's going to be used for, upgrades or who knows? But Kenwood is they're also bringing out a new radio, so more in the VHF UHF realm.
Got it. Okay. Well, cool. All right. Let's see if I can hit the right button here. I don't know. I'm going to do another song. There we go. Hey. To learn more about the 100 Watts in a Wire community, friends, visit 100wattsawire.com. You can check out the podcast archive, register for a 100 Watt ID. We share those on net nights at Sunday, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and we will give you some coverage after we record this podcast. We've got sweatshirts and gear, winter's coming, stickers and mugs, all that sort of stuff. 100wattsandawire.com. Scotty's been digging. He likes to go into the annals of, I think it's called, or the annals.
The annals of
Stop
history.
there. Scotty, you're up.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, sir.
Got a couple ham fests coming up next weekend. What do we got? We got the 68th annual Shelby Ham Fest. It's an ARRL North Carolina State Convention as well. That's August 30th through September 1st. We got the Alamogordo Amateur Radio Club's 38th annual Ham Fest in Alamogordo, New Mexico, and the Summer Symposium by the BoardNet ARRL Santa Barbara Section Convention, Camarillo, California. Woo-hoo.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mike, for reminding me. All right, we got some questions. You guys ready to answer some questions here? If you have a question for us to ponder or maybe give you some help with, what are you struggling with? If you're here and you're kind of debating on something, just throw it out there. It's time for counsel. This is what we're going to do. We have some questions that are in the queue. I go to the well with counseling as much as humanly possible. So I'm certainly doing that. Let's take a look at some of the questions that are coming in. Steve, this is an interesting one here, and I think it could be a bit of a, a misunderstanding or what have you. Let's think about our switchers here and our common position in our switchers. Is somebody turned up? We can mute.
What are these?
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. So the question is, does the common position on the switcher protect the radio from lightning strikes?
In reality, no. If you take a direct hit, you're gonna probably get some damage on the radio. If it's a nearby strike, it will definitely help protect it. But when you get a direct hit, it's all bets are off. Even though you have it grounded and through the switch and everything, there's a good chance that you'll have damage, but most likely a nearby strike, it will truly help protect your radio.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, grounding is such a sophisticated, maybe that sophisticated is not the word, complicated. For me, in my mind, grounding is such a thick topic.
Well,
but
there's the right way and a wrong way, and you want to do it the right way.
All right. There you go. Next question. If you have a question, put a Q in front of it. We'll pull it out of our live chat as well. And those chats, questions will take precedent here as we record. What are your thoughts on stock microphones? Scotty, let's go to you first.
I think stock microphones, especially in this day and age, are pretty good. I mean, ICOM uses a little electret condenser in their stock mics. The Yaesus, I think, tend to be more of a dynamic mic, but I've gotten good audio reports with just the handheld with the push to talk on the side, and yeah, they're set up and designed to give you sort of the maximum, the ideal frequency range for radio communication. So it's not going to have a extended top end, and it's not going to have a ton of low frequency content in the audio. But I think the stock mics sound fine for most of the things. Usually, when you get into having an external microphone for your rig, you're just going for that extra 10% of audio awesomeness in your sound. I don't think they're necessary, but they're fun. But stock mics are fine. Most of them sound pretty good, actually.
I think we recognized this when the 7300 came out, and for the longest time, and part of your answer there was in modern times, right? So that radio came out with a condenser hand mic that just sounded like holy cow. Everybody'd say, what kind of microphone are you using? And I'm just using the stock handheld microphone. And people are like, wow, that's crazy. Steve, talk about it.
Yeah, same thing. The newer radios, the 7300, that little condenser microphone is incredible. It just absolutely sounds great. You don't need to, invest into a aftermarket microphone. I mean, you already have it there. The newer Yaesus have been coming in with the new stock microphones are much better than what used to be. The old Yaesus, they were crap. I mean, they worked, they got the job done.
Except for this one.
What is that? What are you showing us? The Turner or the an old Yaesu? Okay.
Where is it? I can't do this. There it is.
There you go. Yeah, the old Yaesu. But the old stock ones were just terrible. And if you were kind of into nice sounding, well balanced audio, but they got the job done. But it was very, very constrained. So
I mean, a lot of the newer rigs have TX audio DSP there's an EQ for your TX audio, and then you got the compression and selective silence, so that helps sweeten up things as well.
All right, very good.
It always starts at the microphone. So you could fiddle fart with it, post and but it's easier when it starts with good audio in the beginning.
I remember bringing up the memories of Mr. Heil, K9EID, and I remember talking to him about a D104, and I wanted that full, all the shiz. I wanted it all. I wanted to sound like this, you know what I mean? And he was like, so you can't, look, you just can't. I'm like, I want all 80 meters too. I want the whole damn, you just can't, okay? I'm like, oh man. So he had a way of telling me, it's like this, your audio is going to be like this on that D104. But if you can get the different mic, I'm like, okay, I understand. There was a question in the chat. Let me bring it up from Mike is here. And thank you, Mike. What do you do when setting up a wire antenna for POTA as far as running the tie down in the trees for POTA? Who wants to go first? I guess just tying off. I guess I can say
when I would do wire antennas for POTA or for camping and stuff. So I have this I guess it's an arborist sort of sandbag with like this yellow nylon twine. I would throw the sandbag over the branch, and I'd tie my antenna off to the yellow twine, and I'd pull it up, and I would use that as my tie off for the wire. And so I'd just pull it up until I need it, and then just wrap it around the stump a few times, and then just leave the sandbag and everything hooked up to the wire, instead as opposed to trying to hook something else up to it, to the arborist line, and then pull it up with a different line to get my antenna up. I would just leave it all hooked up to the arborist bag, and that works pretty well. Now, if I needed to use that bag to throw up another antenna, then I would have to use a different tie off. But that's the way I would do it.
Yeah, my big concern would be just you're tying off to a tree or something in a park that park rangers or the park folks might get a little twitchy about it, that, you're doing something to the tree. The other thing is, having a line tied down. Could it be a tripping or a choking hazard? So there's other there's other issues that I see that you need just some common sense and mitigate it and be mindful of what's going on. But it would every situation is going to be different. Every park, every location, like our homes and stuff like that, everything is totally different. But it would be, as a general question, it's kind of I'm thinking more on the trying to be low key and not cause any problems with the park officials, and then not causing a hazard for the general public.
Yeah, it's great points there the fellows gave, because it really depends on, nobody wants to hear that answer, but it depends on your setup and situation. When I was activating the arch in St. Louis, this is a protected monument, and you couldn't tie off to anything. You could not. You had to be self-contained. You weren't touching a tree. You weren't moving the gate. You weren't doing anything. And sometimes you're out there by yourself, and it kind of depends on what you do. I used to always put out these little camping stakes, and I would tie off, depending on what I had, right into the ground. And depends on how long you're going to be there too. So it kind of depends on the situation. It's a great question, and there's different ways to do it, I guess, is the point there, right, Sherry? All right, we got time for another question. We're creeping up on a little bit of, we'll just keep on going because we've been apart for too long, and we still have to open our Christmas gifts. So, it's been so long. Let's see. Go ahead.
We've been good and waited till the end before the gift giving.
Here's another question. Crimp or solder? Why?
Both.
Oh, I just did that today.
Did you now? Explain.
I had to fix a connector, and so I do both. I use connectors that solder the center pin and crimp the shield, but crimp is faster. It works just fine in most situations. The problem becomes when you have the coax weight. So if you have your antenna up, say 50 feet in the air or whatever, you have all that weight of that coax. With a crimp, that center conductor is going to slip, and along with the shield, it will just eventually slip over time. And the soldering it is definitely going to give you a much better electrical connection and that mechanical connection. So it depends on the situation. In my professional life, we crimp everything because we strain relief. We don't allow any strain on a connector like we do here in our hobby with, say, a dipole, or it's so the crimp is fast. It's easy. You only need, minimal tools. You don't need to take a soldering iron with you. And when you're doing this at the top of a tower, which I've done many times up at a couple 100 feet, it's like, I don't have a soldering iron. So, but now they do. They make portable soldering irons. Butane, Milwaukee has a little soldering iron that I have. It uses an M12 battery. It's great. But the problem becomes when it's windy and you're in an open environment, soldering irons don't get
cold,
hot enough. So
yeah,
that's
they get
the other.
They're like,
so it comes down to preference. I like the solder the center pin, crimp the shield. You get best of both worlds. But
That's
either or,
go.
I just use whatever connector is available.
Great answer and great question. I hope that helps. We're looking at 7210. If you're following us live during this recording for the kickoff of the 100 watts in a wire Sunday evening net, don't tune up on frequency, but get that radio ready to go on 40 meters. Should we continue with some questions as we go? All right, good.
This one is for lost time.
This one's coming in live from the pub. Hello from the pub.
Got
the
it.
answer is no.
42.
42 is the answer. Okay. Next question. What radio would you recommend for preparedness? That's a good one. I guess Scotty's got a real life story he could talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we talked about preparedness radios. I mean, preparedness is defined differently for everybody. Christian was referring to a situation where I had to get rescued, and I had a lowly Baofeng UV5R, and that worked. But I think when a lot of people talk about preparedness, they're thinking more, I guess, more broad coverage. Getting into being able to do HF stuff and then doing some. I know not FT, the JS8 call is a popular mode for the prepper community. But I think any radio that you can take with you to reach out for assistance or to try to listen in to what's going on would be a good radio. I carry a little HT around with me. It's a Baofeng. It works in all the bands, not all the bands. Sorry, like all the frequencies that all the bubble pack radios do. So I can do GMRS and FRS and then ham stuff as well as monitor repeaters, first responder dispatch. So I carry that around for me. I don't know if it's a great preparedness radio, but it's worked for me. It's handy to have.
Pastor Joe, Whiskey Alpha 2 JOE, says his FT891 for HF and at least 2 GMRS radios in each car. There you go. Baofeng is, I don't know. I think we have a tendency to jump on the thing where the most popular opinion may be headed, and Baofeng is definitely not a popular radio. But then I hear something like... No. There's many of them out there. They're $25. You can drop them in the river. You can drop them off a cliff. Whatever. You're not going to hurt too much. And then I hear a story like Scotty tells. He had his radio programmed, and a Baofeng saved his life from a flood. And I'm like, what? What do you think, Steve?
I think they're great. I mean, it's so in the prepper world, it's not. You're going to have a pack that's going to be set up, and you're going to throw a radio in there, and they want to kind of keep the costs down to a minimum. And these Baofeng, Wushangs, TYTs, whatever, Chinese radios, they're pretty inexpensive, and then they'll throw them in their bug out bag or pack, and from the prepper side, in case of Scotty, it was, hey, he just happened to have the Baofeng. Others will have, say, a dual band ICOM or Yaesu or what is it, Kenwood, the D710, I think it is, the handheld version of it. So it all depends on your needs and what you want to go and what your family is. Now, having the Baofeng, which is pretty much they're a wide range radio, so they can do the MERS, they can do the the GMRS, where the Yaesus, Kenwoods, ICOMs are going to be more geared around the ham bands and just kind of stay in there. They'll receive on the outside the bands, but they'll only transmit. So it comes down to what your level of preparedness that you want to do. And most of the time that I've seen, people talking about prep radios, it's going to be more of a handheld and maybe an inexpensive mobile in their vehicle. So it would be the mobile version of the Baofeng.
It's such a wide question, because as I said, everyone's idea of preparedness is different. Some folks want to be preparedness to the point where they can do WinLink and stuff like that. It's more of a signal comm sort of type of preparedness, or if you just want to be able to have a radio contact with your family members and stuff. There's a difference between having some like an FT991 set up at your base camp or at your home, at your compound. Versus I want to be able to be in touch with my family members and friends in the community when stuff gets weird. And in that case, something like the Baofeng would be fine. So have some pre programmed frequencies for everyone to sort of, if this happens, go into the channel 3 thing that I programmed for you, which is going to be compatible with the Walmart channel 3 radio that you got, and the other, and the Cobra channel 3 radio you got from Dick's Sporting Goods. And so
I think a lot of preppers and people that I've met who are not licensed amateurs, they'll keep a 11-meter radio around. They've got, something with that. And I'm like, cool, to each their own, do whatever you like. And a lot of them use the radios as like a tool in the toolbox. Now, do they know how to use it? Do they know how to, or have they programmed that radio? We'll see. But to balance that out, I've met people on Aries teams that I don't believe that they necessarily know how to program their radios. And you're just like, ooh, it depends. Down here, they take it a little, take it seriously down here when you're in the hurricane zone, for sure. But a great question. And again, one of those ones where it kind of depends. What's your budget? What are you looking to do? Is it something you're going to throw over in a bag? It's just something you say is, and hopefully you keep it.
And who are you going to communicate with? What's
right.
what's the end goal?
Who are you trying to keep in touch with, basically, is what it boils down to.
And do they know how to use the radio? Have we simplified it enough for them? But I've heard stories both ways that, people are communicating on a very passive, I don't even do this. What do I do to, so radio is still a very beautiful thing to all of us. Just popping out. There's Mitts on your screen right now, friends. There's Mitts, and if I don't screw this up, hey, we didn't screw it up. There is another question in the queue, and if you're here and visiting with us, you're welcome to drop a question in or give an opinion, and we will share that with you as well. There's Mitts, Minnesota Mitts. He was a very famous pool shark for many years, 15 or 20 years, making, I think he called it his side hustle. And he is on 7210, friends. And if anybody has a better signal that they want us to feed over, I hear him down in the noise.
Mine's pretty noisy, but I'll bring him up a little bit.
All right.
Not so good.
All right, I'll take mine up again, and then I'm sure Steve's got a better copy. Here's me. Here's Southwest Florida.
Yeah, that's similar to mine.
And we'll get Steve set up there as well. Remember, if your club is having a gathering, let us know what's going on with the events and all those things. You can drop us a line and contact us. We appreciate that. We do have TikTok, Discord, Facebook, and YouTube. And if you feel moved and to support the content that you enjoy, go to buymeacoffee.com/100watts. If you like. Right now, let's see what Steve's got from the Pacific Northwest.
It's very, very light on my end here.
How's mid sounding to you there, Sidecar?
Yeah,
Steve's radio.
There's only a couple of signals that I see on 40 at all.
All right, I'll bring it back up here. And,
very, very light on this end. So,
I got a little.
We still got too much daylight here.
A little bit of something going, but not too much. And the sun's finally setting here. We do have another question. We can we'll pick that one up from Big Ben here in a second. Let's see. I can pull this up, and it is a question about bare or insulated antenna wire. Does it matter? Bare or insulated wire for antennas? Does it matter?
I always use insulated wire, but I've used bare wire, and if it's it's just whatever wire I have available. And these days I just I'm out now. I just got to order another 1,000-foot roll of 14 gauge wire, but it's usually insulated.
It's the sexiest thing I've heard all night. I just ordered 1,000 feet of insulated.
I need to. I haven't done it yet. I got to do it.
14 gauge wire.
14 gauge wire. Stranded.
Click and send. Thank you for your purchase. Very good. Yeah, Steve gave me an antenna. It's actually back at the homestead in Missouri for when I go back to visit. It's up in the air there, and that was a Wyndham, Carolina Wyndham.
That one was built with bare wire, yeah.
And that has a patina on it. It's actually a very cool look because it's been weathered really for real in the Northwest. For our podcast listeners, I want to thank you, and I want to encourage you to let us know what you're struggling with. If you have questions, send us a note through the email through our website, 100wattsandawire.com. You can leave comments on YouTube, TikTok, we're in all the places, and join the Discord. All these links are for you, and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss anything. So we'll wrap that up for you. Friends who are here on YouTube, will continue our coverage.
A question in the comments there.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much. I almost
Ben, before
missed
we get
that.
out of here.
Big Ben has a question. He says, how is the pickled nuts production and distribution going? So pickled nuts was a sensation about 18 months ago. A factory was erected, if you will, and Uncle Paul's nuts, he went from salty to pickled to, what was the other one? Lightly salted? Salted and covered in something? Was it caramel or hot wax or something?
Caramel.
I don't remember.
There was something with Old Bay or something like that going on.
Oh,
Something
yeah,
like that. So I think he sold millions, and we haven't seen him since. So I think it's about
I'm waiting
paying
for
off
the
the.
Cajun,
I'm waiting.
the
I got
Cajun
20 bucks.
seasoning salted nuts.
I'm waiting for the 20 spot I loaned him to get this business started. I haven't seen any residual checks on the salty nut side of things. Then he went into the pickle things and all this. But Old Bay, I'm totally down with that. Thank you for your question, Big Ben. KX4TQ. We will wrap up the podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out overtime with us. We appreciate you. And as I said, you can join us live on Sunday, 7 o'clock Eastern time, and then we go into a little bit of net coverage, a little bit of overtime. So for our friends on YouTube, stick around. We're staying with you. 73, Steve, thank you so much for coming back. Your guitar sounds excellent, my friend.
Thank you. It's good to be back. It's good to see everybody. Appreciate everyone hanging out and checking in with us on the nets. They've been just fantastic through the summer here. So,
Scotty, KC3, BXN, any parting words from the shack?
As my brother often says, don't let your meat loaf.
Oh,
No, it's great to be back. I've been looking since you said you'd like to try to do the stream this week. I've been looking forward to it all week. So it's been the highlight of my weekend for sure. And it's good to see everybody in the chat, and also thanks to everyone that's been checking in every week with the nets. Don and Steve have been doing a bang up job, and it's popular as ever.
my friends, my brothers and sisters, good luck the rest of the way. And by all means, if you can, please try and stay above the noise. 73.
7-3, everyone.
Now, this is the portion of our program when Scotty says, I gotta pee again.
I don't.
Oh, you don't? You're good? You're good? Not taking in enough? Are you staying hydrated?
Short term.
Thank you for our YouTube friends who are hanging out. We appreciate you for that. It's good to be back and hanging out with you. Here's Mitz. This is why we call him the Mitz.
Has he got an audio feed for you?
Jesus, look at his shack. He's come a long way. He's got
great.
all kind of stuff. Wow.
That big amplifier down there. Look at that thing.
Wow. Now, did he buy anything when you guys were in Dayton? Was any of this stuff? Was he looking for a bug or a paddle or anything like that? Because I know he's into doing code now.
I know he got an Icom 705.
Oh, he got that in Dayton?
Ooh. Yeah, he bought it there.
Yeah,
right
he picked that up in Dayton. Yep.
I think he got it at the HRO, or no, it was DX Engineering. He got it at their booth. And I don't know if he was checking out some bugs. I don't know if he picked one up, some paddles or something. I know we were hanging out at the...
Yeah, he was looking at the galley bugs, and I
yeah.
don't think he picked up any keys. So there's 40 meters as far as FT8 goes.
Yeah, I was working some FT8 earlier on 40 shortly before we went live, and it was I saw one signal. Couldn't believe it.
So So this is
First, I
what
got
40 is here in the Pacific Northwest. Let's go see what 10 meters is doing.
Okay.
10 meters still hopping.
We'll find out.
Right, with the very slow ass waterfall that is FT8.
It was really just hopping earlier today. So let's see what comes up. Yeah,
This
still
is
one up there. Fallen CT. So it's still happening.
I'm gonna try to pull up an SDR for that I can slip into the audio feed here for see if we can hear a little bit of what's happening closer to dawn.
Okay.
But first, I have to pee.
All right, there he goes. Let's take a closer look at his shack. Look at that. He's doing lots of work there in that shack. I love that on the air sign too. Yeah, that's new.
My brother picked that up for me at a Hamfest we were at a few years back. I can't remember where. Somebody was selling it. It's designed to go. It's designed to go in a box and backlit, so you can actually backlight it. I have to build a box for it, but I'll use a flashlight.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Gotta love that. Got to love that.
Yeah, so I gotta make a box with a backlit box for it. But yeah, it's cool when it's it's that plastic with the different, like they use on pick guards on guitar, multi-layer colored, and it's engraved in. It's really cool.
What are you laughing about, Steve?
Oh, it reminds me of that Saturday Night Live skit with the box.
Oh, put your junk in the box, is it? You are a dirty man. You are a dirty.
Sounds like your mic switched
Oops.
over to the camera again, Steve.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's what it did. Yeah.
Give you a little
As long as
alternate
I'm
view tonight. There you go. You're back.
Doing stuff, it just switches the audio.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
That's
why it
marvelous.
does it.
It's marvelous.
Marvelous. Simply marvelous.
Yeah, I'm gonna set up my laptop and see if I can feed some audio into my mixer from one of the SDRs and see if we can get a better listen as to what.
Yeah, because we're not.
Let me
getting
click on that.
Not getting Mitts. Let's hear and look at Mitts here. Let's see. This is off my radio here in Southwest Florida. My off-center fed dipole is not very high. We're talking 25 feet. That could be some thunder outside my door. I'm not sure. Check the radar.
Yeah, so ever since Don got the his amplifier, he's just been the
Not bad.
king of the hill.
I bet. Monster.
Yeah, he's been a madman. Look at that.
You're welcome to ask a question if you have one. You can share it with us. We are doing a little bit of net coverage tonight, 7210. We're listening to 40 meters, 7210.
Bring up my audio a little bit, see if I hear him.
All right, now we're listening to Steve's radio. He was light on me last week as well. Actually got a lightning, just saw lightning, so I probably need to turn this off. Let's go to Mitts. I'll turn my radio off.
There's Don.
All right, we're unplugged. In Southwest Florida, we've got a bit of a storm coming through. Oh, you got a good copy on him, yep.
There's Jim.
You got the thunder outside the door. We are unplugged, friends. It's technically, I suppose, the rainy season here in Florida, but it's also hurricane season. But we're not in any sort of difficult storms at this point. We're just dealing with storms that come through.
Yeah, we had a pretty good storm come through last weekend. It was last weekend that kind of lit everything up and caused a little bit of havoc. But,
well, it probably was 2 weeks ago now. We had that, what was her name? Oh, Debbie. Debbie came through and, flooding in areas down here. And that's a complicated situation, but I'm learning that there was a lot of development that did not properly drain, maybe. And yeah, I mean, you can imagine the money and the housing and the whatever. And so there's places out east, inland, that are flooding in just a good rainstorm, but not like a tropical or hurricane even, and people were flooded out their homes. So yeah, some of the locals in areas I was listening to were thinking that some of these builders, I won't call them greedy, but perhaps they were, and they didn't put in proper drainage, and things are rolling downhill and flooding in areas that traditionally have not flooded here in this area. So that's a problem. Big eye opener.
that's too bad.
Yeah. And it wasn't that bad. I mean, geez, it wasn't crazy at all. But you're up in fire time. Are you still in fire time?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
I saw some post on Discord about you heading out all the time.
Yeah, it's the last week or so things have been kind of a little subdued. It's been we've had some cool weather here and some rain, which has been kind of helping. But today and nice sunny day and starting to warm back up. Yesterday, it was in the low 60s for the high. It was almost like it was starting to feel like fall.
I also saw your one of your temperatures there. I was like, ooh, that sounds nice. It was like 60 something or 50 something in the morning. Like, ooh, baby. Hey, there's Brian O'Toole. That name sounds familiar. Hello there, Brian.
Yep. It's good to see you, buddy. He's in your neck of the woods. I think he's down in Miami. So
okay.
He grew up in where I grew up in Pasadena, California. So so now he's in Florida and I'm up here in Washington.
Hello, Tracy and Lori in Indiana. Yep, we're still in Sarasota. It's a good place to be, for sure. It's nice. It's very nice. Beach town. You can hear that. You might be able to hear that thunder. Hello, Scott from Colorado. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Kilo Foxtrot 0 Lima Sierra Echo. You're 5'9". You're 5'9". There's Minnesota Mitts running the net right now on 7210. This is extended coverage of the 100 Watts and Wire Sunday evening net. You're hearing audio now from Steve W7UDI's radio in the Pacific Northwest. I have unplugged because of a passing storm. But you've got a good copy. It was better than my copy anyway. And Scotty has gone over to try to get his laptop set up to pull off.
I have the DSP kicked in, and I mean, he's very, very light. There's like no signals at all on on the band, and but he's there. There's a few, and Jim, KG5LTL, who's now a resident here in the Pacific Northwest in the state of Montana.
Wow.
He's coming in quite well here. So
hello to
just,
Scott. Chris. Chris is in Scotland. Hello from
Scotland.
From Southwest Florida. We've got the Pacific Northwest. We've got Maryland, somewhere in the mid-Atlantic, and we've got Mitch in the center. He's central in Minnesota. He's running our net on 7210 right now. Hello to W4TRI. Good to see you again. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so it'll let you know. But Sundays at 7 o'clock, we are live on the YT, the YouTube. Love to have you with us. Winter Haven, okay. Temperatures dropped here, thank goodness. It was like some, the nuts, the swamp ass, the problems, all the problems. But you got to do that lawn work. You got to get out there and mix it up. Scotty, what did
the audio? I was pulling up. Trying to pull up Utah. There's another station that's just below Don, so I'm getting a lot of interference right on top of them. It's quite annoying.
Yeah, Don was making comments about it.
So yeah, I'm not gonna be able to pull him in from that SDR. Maybe I can. Been playing around with those Kiwi SDRs. They're kind of fun because they're just people's little personal stations. It's
What did you guys eat while you were in Dayton, or was it more of a diet of alcohol?
Oh, there was that too. Oh, there was plenty of that.
Okay, you ate and drank. Okay.
We went to dinner at a barbecue joint that Steve turned Don and I onto, which was real good. But
he knows all the secrets.
We only went out to dinner that one time. There was a sandwich place, like I forget, it was like Jersey Mike's or something like that was near the hotel, and that's where I ended up doing most of my dinner time snacking. There wasn't much else around except the strip mall and the hotel and a Lexus dealership.
Wasn't too much.
I took Don to an Italian place, a little mom and pop that I've gone to forever. They're not really popular with the ham crowd, but it's if you're into Italian food, it is just authentic, and they've been it's a good little restaurant. It's a small place and really, really quaint. So and then Company 7, so it's a barbecue place not too far from where Don and I were staying. So it worked. But other than that,
there is KC3UQL. Thanks,
but
bub.
then the eats at the fairgrounds were pretty good. The Cajun chicken was that was spot on. So
okay,
that was pretty tasty for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's Jim. There's a zero station and Jim. Hammer.
If I can find an SDR station that's close to Don. Let's get the map here.
Oh, he said he's going to QSY, right?
Yeah.
Where's he gonna go?
Yeah, man.
He'll probably post in the Discord if he moves.
Well, he said he was going to update NetLogger too. Oh, he has it posted as 7211.
Oh, he went up one. 7211. Okay. Minnesota Mitts. He's Kilo Charlie Zero Delta Whiskey Zulu in Minnesota. He's running the point right now for the 100 Watts and Wire Sunday Evening Net. Check in with him, 7211.
7211.
Yeah, sounds like he's underwater. Whoop, whoop.
Somebody's got 7211.
7211, yep. Poor Jim is getting stomped.
Roger, Dave. I'm pretty sure you've checked in before. Yeah, you have.
There's 10 meters, FT8.
Thanks to Northwest Survival for subscribing to us on the YouTube channel. Appreciate you. Thank you to J Projects for subscribing. There it is. Let's give Steve his eye exam. Let's go right on in.
Let's see. Let's go down here. Let's go this way.
That guy's got some bass in his voice.
That must be awesome. I might even want to do other things when she's doing ancestry. I was thinking of doing.
Just passing by, we are following the 100 Watts and a Wire Sunday Evening Net every Sunday, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Starts off on 40 meters and continues on 20 meters. Right now, 7211. You've got Don, Kilo Charlie Zero, Delta Whiskey Zulu in Minnesota. The audio you're listening to is coming from the Pacific Northwest, W7UDI's radio. We are unplugged here in Southwest Florida as a bit of lightning came and I unplugged us.
Without any major rules.
All right, I got an idea here. My laptop audio is not working. It figures like the freaking audio output jack just crapped out on me. But I have an auxiliary Mac Mini that's already wired into my mixer. I just need to turn it on. And there's a Kiwi station that I found up in Duluth, North Dakota that's picking up Don real nice. So we'll get that there.
Okay.
Give me a second here.
All right, we can do that.
I'm freaking working here.
I'm working here.
There's the old. One thing about I love about the Macs is the share screen function. Like I have my old Mini. I still have it hooked up, but I don't even bother hooking a KVM up to it anymore. I need to get anything to it. I just do screen share through the M1, and it's as if I'm right there. It's pretty cool. It's only I'm just booting it up, so give me a second. I'll have some better audio for everyone.
Right on. Hello to Glenn. Whiskey 3, Golf Bravo Whiskey. Good to see you, my friend, and my brother from Philadelphia. Glad you're hearing Don okay. Unplugged here in Southwest Florida at the moment. But we got a little bit from Steve W7UDI, his radio, and Scotty is pulling up something from the SDR. He found something we can listen to a little bit stronger. Thank you to Bobtail for subscribing to us this evening on YouTube. We appreciate you. Don't forget to join us on the Discord. It's sort of like the glue that happens throughout the week. Conversations, that sort of stuff. It's a small group. It's intimate. It's intimate. The image you're seeing here on screen, that's Steve W7UDI's headphones and his Yaesu rig. With 7211, that is Don running the net there. I think we lost Steve's audio, so, but that's okay.
I pulled it down for a little bit.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, no worries. He's still there. I thought you were off doing, a beer run, a beer me to the fridge.
No, I had to do with Scotty. It was my turn.
Gotcha. Yeah, peeing over the ledge. Now, I wonder whoever's around here, let us know what the temperature, where you are and what the temperature is this evening. I'd be curious to know. I'd have to look mine up, but finally I can feel the temperature drop, which is nice. It's pleasant at the moment. We are sitting in Southwest Florida, still isolated thunderstorms. It says we're at 83. It feels a little bit cooler than 83 at the moment, but what do you got working over there, Steve?
We are 71 degrees.
Oh, that's nice. 71.
So it's nice.
This is off of Scotty's rig in Maryland. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
That clean audio is coming.
All right. Scotty's working on some audio cleanup. He's the official engineer of audio engineer for 100 watts and a wire. It's going to get us some damn good audio. That's what he says.
Well, it'll be better than what we got so far.
James reports he is in Montana, Kilo Golf 5, Lima, Tango Lima. He is 5'9" in Southwest Florida, but it's 62.9 degrees in Rexford, Montana. James, Jimmy, JJ, you're 5'9". 62, that sounds nice. Boy, I miss Montana. We've got 84 degrees in Marathon, Florida, in the Keys. David's out on his boat. He lives on a boat. We're going to be talking about grounding with him one day about that boat. Then we're going to have him swing by and pick us all up. 84, similar to what I've got. 83. A nanu to you. You're 5'9".
5'9".
Got your audio going there, Scotty?
Mark reports 76 degrees in Maryland. That sounds very nice. And you, my friend, are 5'9".
Nano.
Okay, very good. It's funny because I often talk to someone with a name like yours, and I'll go through all the nicknames and they'll say, "Oh no, I got my middle name, or something like that." So, okay, I couldn't figure that one out, but I'm glad I asked. Thank you.
There's Uncle Paul. Hello, my brother. Hello. Uncle Paul is here.
Uncle Paul's in the house.
Uncle Paul is in the chat. Stop by and say hello.
At that time in Missouri, now in Florida, Kilo Zero, Sierra Tango Hotel. His name is Christian, and the podcast actually led to a group of about 15,000 folks. We also had a Discord server. We have different social media outlets. Tonight's net is being streamed live on YouTube. You'll be able to go back and watch it on YouTube if you look up 100 live players. I want you to do exactly pay attention to the stream that they're doing. I'm concentrating on the net. But I've seen my face on the screen a couple times.
You almost see his face on the stream.
So you might be able to hear yourself. And that leads into my question, Rich. What is your audio situation? Are you on a flex or are you on?
Is that your radio still, Steve? That sounded pretty good. Or is this with Scotty's feed?
Yeah, no, it's mine.
Okay.
Let me turn off my DSP and see if it will change the audio.
Oh, yeah.
See, there's the DX10 with a handheld microphone he's talking about. I'll turn it back on.
We miss you, Paul. We've missed you. Maybe we all come back at the same time. You come back soon here. I hope things are getting easy for you. And best to your bride. And all of the family.
See, all his audio is like 1600 and below. This guy.
Come on.
Well, I always see Paul's updates.
Over to Bootsky.
Paul gives us a morning update no matter what from New Jersey.
Yes, he does.
I read his morning weather reports religiously. And so I still feel like we haven't missed any time, Paul, but we definitely miss seeing you and hearing you on the radio. Maybe these coming months, maybe things will settle in. We'll all start to rock and roll again. That would be awesome. I think that's one of the beautiful things, though, about amateur radio that I didn't understand when I first started. And when I first was licensed, I would hear people, they'd say, I got out a little bit, I had to do this, raise a family, I got a job, I moved, I got a new house, I was life, you know. And at the time, I was 100% all in. Like, I couldn't, But then life gets you. Life gets you, and you got to make decisions, and you have to make choices, and you got to do all these things. And that's kind of, I had seen it happen in other people's lives, and then it was mine. And now I feel like I'm finally at a place where it leveled off. And so hopefully all of you are at that point. And if those rocky days start coming, then you know that you can put this down for a little bit. Your friends don't leave you. And that's what I've learned. They don't leave you. And when you're ready, you come back. That's what I've learned probably over the last 18 months.
God, it's been 18 months. Holy
Well, I don't
smokes.
know. I've lived here. No, it hasn't been that since we've been together. No, it's been a
No,
definitely.
I mean this little.
this
this
whole
next
jaunt.
chapter
Yeah,
that you've
yeah,
been-
for sure. Yeah. It's been a year in July, so it's been not about 13 months. About 13 months. But there was a time before that, all the prep to get ready, and what are we going to take? What are we going to do? And holy hell! Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Finally.
All right, I'll pull down.
Do more audio, less audio.
Just a touchdown, maybe 3 dB, sir. Good.
How's that?
That's good.
This is a Kiwi SDR based out of some guy's station in North Dakota.
Nice.
Nice, North Dakota.
I've been loving Kiwi SDR. There's so many stations.
Maybe you can teach us what that is, because I have no idea what Kiwi SDR is. So that sounds like a good tutorial, Scotty. When you have the time, because I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, it'd be cool to talk about it. It's just sort of like this ecosystem where people can buy these little SDR receivers, and they can set up web access to their. They put up a nice antenna. They'll put up a dipole or a loop or a logarithmic, and basically you can and then they can they set it up so that you can access it over the internet, and then their station pops up on a little map on KiwiSDR.com, and then you find all these stations all over the world.
What do you need to listen? Just the internet?
Just the internet. Yeah.
Kiwi.
And it's cool. The web interface is cool. It's called OpenWebRX, and it's got audio adjustments. I can record just the IQ data, all sorts of cool stuff.
What? So Kiwi, KIWISDR.
Yep, SDR. Yeah, check it out.
I will, for sure.
Those are the ones I haven't even tried yet, but
We're gonna try that.
I use the web SDR sites like
I do too.
Northern Utah and San Francisco.
If you're going on to the Kiwi site, then you'll see some stuff. Find the link for maps.
Okay. Scotty, your microphone's a little hot now, but you're.
Oh dear.
It's okay. Not too much. You're all right. You're not crazy.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
So yeah, and then there's these little marks that for everyone's station, and you can hover over it and click on the link, and it takes you to their online SDR receiver, which is really cool.
Okay. Thank you for that. I'm going to check it out. KiwiSDR.com.
So this one sounds pretty good. Noise is fairly quiet.
He sounds
Sounds
great.
clean.
It sounds like I'm just dropping into his room. I probably could listen to the audio from his room, but we wouldn't hear the other side, I don't think. You went through all that trouble. I won't mess with it.
I took an OEM one that didn't work.
Yeah, for future reference, you could do that. If I had more channels on my audio interface, I could bring you guys back and keep you out of the send, and then bring it using like what's that that loopback thing I can specify to come out on one of my things and have it on my own channel on Mixer. Exactly.
That's how
Just
I'm
like
mixing
that.
it up. Exactly
like that.
What?
10-element beam on it, but I'll do with what I can.
Good stuff. Good stuff. There you go.
Yeah, it is.
I was having a chat with a fellow that's a big DX operator, and
Who's this guy he's talking to? It's not Jim in Montana, is it? This guy's got some pipes. Listen to him.
16-element
Yeah, and he's using the stock. So he's using a FTDX10, and he's using the stock microphone. So
Yeah, that sounds great.
I don't know if but he has.
I like the challenge of less than 100 watts and a wire, and the only problem with wires is that, you can't really move them too much if you want to, like this wire I've got it now doesn't work very well for the South Pacific. I've gotten into Japan and New Caledonia and New Zealand, but it's not really great the way it's set up, so they have something that you could rotate.
This guy sounds great.
Would be a little bit better working. Yeah, that's true. It would be. Well, and we could go into a deeper discussion at some time. But it's probably time I should let you go, Rich. I'll have to ID here anyways. So if you don't mind, I'll pause here and wish you farewell. And really
There was
enjoyed
one
the
night
chat.
Don was trying to get me my attention. I was in a conversation like Don is right now, and it must have been 20 minutes or something, and I didn't ID except the very beginning, and it was like, holy smokes. Yeah, you get deep into a conversation, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh crud, I gotta ID.
Every 10 minutes, Steve. Every 10 minutes.
I know, every 10 minutes. I failed.
The OO's gonna get you.
I messed up.
Oh, so have you guys heard about? So there's this thing that's been talked about a lot in the POTA Facebook group, but there's this I can't remember the name of it now, but there's this guy that is like policing like operators. He's got some amateur radio something, that it makes it sound like he's some sort of an official like police of the amateur bands. And if he hears a POTA operator that's leaking, that's operating out of their bands, like so he's say he's operating on 7200 or I'm sorry, like 7175, and he's a general class operator, so his lower side bands into the extra class. Mm-hmm. They'll shoot this guy an email, calling him out on him transmitting out of band, and there's tons of people that he's sent an email to, calling him out, and he's like this self-designated.
So he's a self-designated official observer. What we used to have, or volunteer, the volunteer monitoring program.
No one knows who he is. He never gives a call sign or his name. Just this name that sounds official, but it's not. And he spends his entire days like skimming like the POTA spotting page and listening to everybody's POTA activations and then shooting out emails as soon as he hears an infraction.
Jeez, that's just what we need.
So like. It's crazy.
I mean, you do want to help your fellow operator. If they're out of band, then it's like, yeah. But you know what? I mean, there's many ways. I mean, there's probably other ways to go about it. But man.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I retired in March, and I am just having a blast.
Don't rub it in, Don.
Don's having a blast.
Yeah, really. I'm Gen X. We're never going to be retired.
You should have seen the hoops I had to jump to get your audio, Don. Jeez Louise.
Yeah. Jeez.
But thanks, guy in Duluth. I'm sorry, he's in Valley City, North Dakota. Is where this station is.
He's keeping our stream sounding good. Hello to Kelvin. Good to see you, man. I watched one of your videos this week, too. I can't remember which one, but I did see a video of yours this week on the YouTubes. I think it was yours.
YouTubes of you.
Yep, there's YouTubes.
That's Paul. That's Uncle Paul.
Uncle Paul. Sheesh.
Uncle Paul, there he is.
It's great to hear you guys and to see you guys. I think the last time I talked to Steve was like about a week or two ago on 100 watts to wire on 20.
Paul's making it here to the West Coast.
Is he? Yeah, bring him on my rig real quick. I'll keep it out of the feed.
I'm gonna bring mine up. That's
Oh, I got him 9 plus 9.
yeah. There you go.
This is my rig.
Sounds great.
Silence. Let's go.
20 over 9, which means you're pretty omnidirectional.
Ooh.
Nice.
The ham sticks, the gummy sticks.
And I saw you put out the query
With the repaired connector.
and
Yes, with the repaired connector. I should have talked about that on the show, but
February compared to Minnesota, I would love to do
Awesome.
but I'm not
it was in rough shape. I had no idea.
I would probably have to go alone, and then that probably creates other
Oh man,
issues.
Don's really come up. I wasn't hearing him when we started the net on my rig.
Jim reports that Paul is 5'8" into Montana.
Wow. We'll hear him when he keys back up here.
Steve was just fabulous.
He was loud. He was loud.
He was taking Scotty and me around, and he's telling us stories of the old Dayton Hamventions and how it changed, and he likes it where it is now, unlike a lot of the other folks. And we had dinner together each night, and it was just a real treat. And I'm hoping to do that again. I really want to go back to Dayton because I have a son that lives in Indianapolis, and it's 2 hours from Dayton.
2025, Dayton.
I think we should all go, man. I think so. This is our year.
November 2 Hotel Yankee Golf. Back to you from Kilo Charlie Zero.
Hotel Yankee Golf.
Very good, Don. Very good. Yeah, one of these days, maybe this February I can. Well, Lil and I are going down, so we already have everything. I've got my tickets already. I've got the reservations for driving down and the reservations for down there. We're going to be down there, I believe, a total of 11 days. So maybe I can meet up with Christian and have lunch or something with him.
Orlando. Is he thinking Orlando?
Yeah.
He's a busy guy.
How far is that from you?
It would be nice to be able to meet up with Christian while
I
we're
think
down
it's maybe an hour or two. I have to check.
No, it's not bad.
We've
It's
been
not far.
doing this for
That's
quite
nothing.
a few years. Going down to Hamcation. The other net.
That's on my list to do.
Maybe you come down this year.
This past February, we meet on Saturday.
No, don't make me drive to Florida.
You can do
I
it.
have to fly for that one. I'll have to fly for that one.
That's about 16 hours, I think.
This year we had 32 people, which was really nice for dinner. And it's a lot of laughs, a lot of kidding
Unless you're
around,
picking up the tab.
and a lot of getting to know.
And you're like, hey, put the French fries
talk
back.
to almost every day, which is pretty cool. But
You're coming down with some Canadians,
we're
Paul.
looking forward to it. Like I said, we're all set. I'm just waiting for the day.
Close the door. The Canadians are coming.
And I know Will is too. But yeah, alrighty. I don't know how long you're going to be on, so I'll stand by, and we'll wind up listening to you guys and listening to you chat and get some new check-ins hopefully, and new recruits for 100 watts in a wire.
I'd love to
That's what
hear
it's
him
all
back
about.
on Net Control.
Kilo Charlie 0 Delta Whiskey Zulu and 2 HYG.
All right, Paul, very good. Thank you so much again. Always a pleasure. And, I will say thank you for all your years of service that you used to put in on this band for this net. and I get it. I absolutely, like you, love talking to the folks who come back week after week who haven't been around for a while, as well as making the new friends that hopefully come back. And I still feel honored to take your
Scotty
seat in that
shrunk it.
regard. So thank you for all that time you did that. And here's
going in.
forward to many more good years for you, my friend. Hope to meet you in person one of these days, and maybe if nothing else, that's a good reason for me to get the invitation.
The laptop
We're
with
going to clear
the
with our
SDR.
dear, dear friend
Orlando,
Uncle
let's
Paul
go.
in New Jersey, November 2, Hotel Yankee
do it.
Golf. This is Kilo Charlie Zero Delta Whiskey.
Let's do it, guys.
73, Paul. Have a good one.
Paul's down there 11 days. I'll just stay in his RV. Lil won't mind. We'll just. She's like, when's he leaving?
Yankee Echo.
I just got here.
All right, I thought I recognized the Yankee Echo. Billy, how you doing?
Roger, good evening, Don. How you doing this evening?
He's okay. You guys hearing the other station?
Bill, this is Bill, Kilo Echo Zero, Yankee
Yep.
Echo in Branson, Missouri, and he's becoming my NFED random wire and half-wave antenna buddy, right?
Well, haven't worked on them yet. It's got to drop to about 20 degrees before I'm going to work outside during the day, over.
Roger, I understand completely. Well, just to let you know, even without that, you're 5'9" into the Twin Cities.
Hey, Roger, you're doing just the same, a little better down here.
Are you going to run on 20, Steve?
Hey, I don't want to keep you long. I'm
a
going to
little
be
bit.
stepping into a
Yeah.
local net.
Okay.
Just sitting here, I'm reprogramming. I bought a new 578 antenna to put in my truck. So I'm copying over programming. Anyway, it's been fun, I guess. Anyway, Don, thanks for what you do. And again, thanks for all the information. I've been reading through it several times. And I've got a good idea and a plan together. So thanks again for all your help.
Hey, you're more than welcome. Like I said, if you have any questions, you got my email. Just shoot me a line and we'll
They're doubling.
work through it.
Well, they're doubling.
That's a classic. Epic
I
double.
think I doubled with you at the end. Well, as I said before, if you have any questions on it, just give me a holler. You got my email address, and hopefully you have fun with that when the time comes. Thanks for checking in. Kilo Echo Zero, Yankee Echo, Bill in Branson, Missouri. 73 Bill, Kilo Charlie Zero, Delta Whiskey Zulu, 100 watts and a wire. Sunday evening, net hour 2 starting. QRZ. Kilo Oscar 4, Golf Alpha Romeo. The Alpha Romeo station, please. Kilo Oscar 4, Golf Alpha Romeo. All right, I got the Kilo Zero and the Golf Alpha Romeo, but I missed the number. Kilo Oscar 4, Kilo Oscar Quattro.
Just forward, Don.
Kilo Oscar 4?
Roger.
All right, so if I heard and typed in right, is this Dave or David in South Carolina? Roger, South Carolina. All right, thanks for bearing with me. The QSB is starting to kick in a little bit. Some QRN is in Nancy. But I did get you, David. Well, welcome to 100 Watts and Wire Sunday Net. You're about a 5'5" side, 55 into the Twin Cities in Minnesota. Back to you. Roger. I'll be 5757 Sierra Charlie. Thank you for logging me in there. I saw you on YouTube, so I thought I'd come check in with you folks. Oh, fantastic. That's great. I'm glad you had a chance to catch the YouTube stream and felt like checking in with us up here. No, you're doing well, and again, welcome to the stream. Roger. Yeah, I got you a solid 5'9" on the dipole and about a 5'5" on the receiving load. QSL. Well, thank you very much, and you're welcome back anytime, obviously. It looks like it's your first time with me, but hopefully you'll come back in the future. Roger. Well, you enjoy the rest of your net, and I'll sit back and watch the stream. 73. All right, 73. That was David in North South Carolina. Kilo Oscar 4, Golf Alpha Romeo.
I'm gonna try him.
Kilo Charlie 0, Delta Whiskey Zulu. QRZ.
And Kilo Charlie 3, Bravo. I missed my talk. I missed my foot switch.
You step on some gaff tape. I see the gaff tape there. What'd you step on?
I got a little boss keyboard foot switch, and I just completely missed it when I tried to check in real quick. I'm talking like, why do I still hear anything?
It feels like.
I'm just switching over to the SDR now. No better. A little less hissy.
You sound really good tonight. You're about a 5. Super strong for South Carolina or Oklahoma, but you're good enough to get in here, and I'm talking.
Thanks for subscribing, Richard Ryan. Appreciate you. Thanks to Tim Pierce. Steve will be setting up here on 20 meters. Hamvention is on February 7th through the 9th.
Oh, wow. So you only got a general for a little over a week? That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Paul's asking if Steve's going to run in the chat here. I'll say yes.
Yeah, I think he's setting up now.
Yeah, I'm setting up on 14268.
14268, everybody. 20 meters, portion of the net will be headed your way.
All righty.
14268, Paul.
Grab the other phones and go that way. So here we go.
Roger. Well, that's one of those things. You're going to find out this hobby is fascinating and frustrating all at the same time. And things will happen. You'll say, why did that happen? And then they'll go away and not come back, and you just shrug your shoulders. But I think, like most hams, the more time you spend, the more in-depth you're going to become, and you're going to understand things. And for me, it's just fascinating. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Good answer.
80-meter delta loop, that would be fabulous.
There last night and get Sylvania and some other places, but yeah, enjoying it for sure. But I'm interested in going around with it. Of course, you notice it works. Roger. That is kind of the thing. Is like once you get something working, unless you have a reason to change it, it's best not to, because you can usually only muck it up more than make it better in my experience. But that doesn't stop me, because I should listen to my own advice, because I'm always messing around with stuff. Yeah, that curiosity, it's worth wonders on that cat. I'm all about safer rabbit holes.
Midism, mucking it up, I guess. Steve's got a sexy looking station. Look at that.
Yeah, no two ways about it.
Yeah, and actually, this is something we used to do every week, and maybe not to the full extent we're doing today, but Christian would always record the podcast in just before the net, and would lead into the net. And then his life last year or so was a little bit disrupted, and he's just really kind of settled back in now. And so this is the first time we're actually streaming the podcast in probably a year or close to it. So maybe there's one or two in there. So hopefully it'll be a more frequent thing, and people can tune into the podcast on YouTube as it's being recorded live, and then feel the desire to come over to the net and say hello. At least that's what I'm hoping for business. Roger.
I wish I could hear them a little bit better. Yeah.
I think I could probably plug back in. Let's see if I can do that.
Sounds good, Rich, and have a great one. And feel free to check back in when you can. Kilo Juliet 5, Golf Victor, Quebec, and Oklahoma, a recently minted general class amateur radio operator. Kilo Charlie 0, Delta Whiskey Zulu. I'm Don. I'm in Lino Lake, Minnesota, 15 minutes north of St. Paul.
I'm going to go for it.
This is hour 2 of the 100 watts and a wire Sunday net, and we are taking check-ins.
Get it, kid. Get it.
Kilo Charlie 3, Bravo, X-ray, November. Oh, damn it. I had my mic set for USB because I was working FT8 earlier. Son of a gun, that's 2 in a row. Damn it. All right. I'm like talking, I don't see my TX computer moving at all. All right. Third time's the charm, right?
I'm going to see if I can hear anything from Steve-O.
All right.
Oh, let's see. He's got Paul.
It was a pleasant change after
Yeah, I'm
being
going to pull
in
mine back.
the high 80s and 90s for quite a while. But yeah, I guess we can expect
Got Steve and Paul here coming through my radio in Southwest Florida here. 14268.
Here in the Northeast, at least around Jersey and the coast here, they're saying that we're supposed to have a mild winter again. So, well, that I think it's a La Nina is coming into play. So
All right, I'm going for Don.
Okay.
I don't want to keep it because I know probably there's a number of guys that want to get in there as well.
Well,
So,
maybe not. Maybe not yet.
turn it back to you, and we'll see where this goes. W7UDI and UHYG.
All right, real good, Paul. So, yeah, no, Farmer's Almanac says we're going to have a wet and cold winter. Last year it was a little drier
feeling
and
good there
warmer.
at your location?
Yeah, we'll get back to normal.
Yeah, he does. He
It'll be,
seems to have that
definitely
pipeline.
a colder winter this year. So, all righty, Paul. Well, you take care. Best of 7-3 to you and your family, and enjoy the empty nest right now for the last of the couple of days, and then we'll look forward to catching up with you again next week. November 2, Hotel Yankee Golf.
Two operators on your screen. Steve W7UDI on the left. He's in the Pacific Northwest running on 14268.
You are welcome.
And Mitch Don, KC0DWZ, is in Minnesota, running on 40 meters. He's in 7211.
With the live stream earlier with Christian and Scotty and myself. So now we're just starting off with the 20-meter net. Don started an hour ago the 40-meter net, and here we are just bringing up the 20-meter net right now. Again, my name is Steve, located here in the Pacific Northwest.
He's a 5'9" plus here.
Wire Sunday night net. Everybody's welcome. You don't have to run 100 watts or a wire antenna. You just run what you brung.
Next week I'll be able to pipe in my radio, get that set up.
Kilo Delta Zero, Delta Charlie Zulu.
The loud
Hi,
station
Mike, how you doing?
came up below Don on my side.
With Don tonight. How's it going? Nice. Have you about a 5.5 with the photo antenna? So, yeah, not bad at all. So, nice signal here into the Pacific Northwest.
All right, I'm going for Don.
Oh, thanks. How's your weekend going?
Kilo Charlie 3, Bravo, X-ray, November. No.
Well, good deal. Well, excellent. Well, I'm glad I got a chance to catch up with you tonight.
I got a station that moved in under Don. I'm gonna maybe it's probably best to go with Steve at the moment.
I'm sorry. Say that one again.
Oh well, it was worth a try.
Okay, real good. Well, alrighty, Mike. Well, I appreciate you being here. Thanks for stopping by and checking in with us. Definitely have you in the log. We appreciate it. So you take care, my friend, and we look forward to catching up with you again. So I'll give it back to you for your final. All right, 7-3. Kilo Delta 0, Delta Charlie Zulu, Whiskey 7, United Delta.
You got company? You got company there, don't you?
Georgie with me here.
Yeah, look at that.
Alpha Romeo, come again?
There he is.
All is
There's
well.
Georgie. He just turned a year old just last week. On Friday, actually, was his birthday.
Alpha Romeo, there we go. Kilo Oscar 4,
So he's been enjoying hanging out here in the shack when I'm working on the amps and stuff back on on the bench. He likes to chill out with his pop. He's a year-old. He's a big boy. See if I can get him to look at the camera.
Look at that
There
face.
he is.
Yeah, I remember when he was a little shorty. What is that sound?
I have no idea. I got my rig turned out completely. So it sounded like it came through Sidecar's rig.
Yeah, it did.
Like some interference that he got.
All right, well, I think I'm going to wrap it up, man. I'm going to wrap it up for this evening. It's been a blast.
Yeah, I'm going to get some dentist myself. I was scrambling last minute to make sure I had all my ducks in a row to get.
We're pretty close. I think we're close. We got there. We hit the destination and we landed the plane. Everything worked okay. Thank you for your help. As always, thanks to Mitz for running there. And Steve-O, now on 20 meters. Go pick him up, 14268. And thank you. We'll be back next Sunday, 7 o'clock Eastern time for a live recording of the podcast, and then we will do some overtime net coverage. All right. So on behalf of all the team here at 100 Watts and Wire, thank you. We appreciate you. Good luck the rest of the way, you guys. And we will see you again next week. 7-3. You're 5-9. You're 5-9.